Patreon community. Thank you for being here with me and supporting the way I'm showing up in the world. And hopefully you are finding value from being here as well with me and how we show up together. And today I wanted to come on. I'm trying to do about 2 posts a month or so on the Patreon specific. And we're already like halfway through July, and I haven't been able to figure out the right timing, I think, to show up to create something for Patreon this month. This has been a hard place for me to show up for various reasons. I'd like it to feel like the most safe space, but I'm also feeling a fair amount of like internal resistance. And I'm not totally sure what that's about. So perhaps that will come out in my pages today, but I wanted to invite you into a shared writing experience. And, for the morning pages that my writings have started developing out of, it's really from just waking up in the morning and in your first 45 minutes doing a stream of consciousness writing. Where you don't censor what's coming up or out and you just kind of let it flow. Yet when I come into connection with you on Patreon, there is part of me that feels like I'd like to introduce a little bit of how I listen to myself when I'm writing, pathways that I've seen come up that have been helpful, little like almost subconscious now choices I make while in the journaling process that you may find are insightful, or you might find that like, oh yeah, I've noticed I do that too. One of the things that I have found sometimes is, and we'll go with the resistance today, since I have a resistance to showing up here. Sometimes when I show up into my pages, I'll find like I hit like a wall or a block or like something that it feels like I freeze almost like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't necessarily have any thoughts. I'm not always sure what to do about that. And sometimes it will come out of, I write something that feels vulnerable for me. And then it's like I freeze and I stop. And so my sense is that when I speak or say or write something vulnerable, and then I go into that fear mode, there's a nervous system dysregulation that kind of happens where I go, oh, threat of death. Because of how we're built as animals. And because of how society works, oftentimes vulnerability is not met with reward. And so I'm trying to help myself learn new patterns, new tools, find new connections, ways of being in community with you, with others that that feels like I can share authentically or share vulnerably, and then the sort of waiting for the other shoe to drop is something I can not do anymore, at least not with the intensity or the way that I used to, where I feel totally frozen. So I find that in my pages, I have almost like a little mini version of that happens between me and myself. Even if I'm not sharing the pages with anyone, even if they stay completely private, I'll still notice that happens with me and me. So one of the ways that helps me with that is I learned this from a journaling method, and I don't remember what it's called now, and I've tried to search it and I can't find it. So this isn't my original thought, but when you get to one of those moments, you can look back on what you just wrote and note. I've noted, and this tends to be consistent, that sometimes what you just wrote, you're not entirely sure what you meant by it. Or even if you do, it can help you continue to move forward if you feel like you're in a freeze, where you just start the next sentence with what I meant by that was, and then you just fill in the blank. You can either use, like, if there's a specific word that you're like, oh, I'd like to unpack that word a little bit, or that word's nice, I'd like to find more ways of saying that in different ways, or that word's uncomfortable and I wonder if I could phrase that in a different way that doesn't bring up quite so much discomfort. Or maybe what I meant by that was I'm really uncomfortable, and then you can just kind of talk about your discomfort. What I meant by that was my discomfort is hard for me to be with, right? What I meant by that is I have a way of avoiding my fears. So you can use that little prompt. What I meant by that was, and then continue and just do that once and then move on if that opens something, or you can keep doing it until you feel like you've kind of moved through something. So I want to just super simple invitation today with the time that we're going to write together is to, if you find yourself sticking or stuck or befuddled by what you wrote or curious about something that you expressed, to just allow yourself to repeatedly use the form of repetition to return to that phrase. What I meant by that was, and then filling in the blank. Yeah. So let's see. Let's do. Last time we did 7 minutes, and that was kind of nice. Let's do. I don't know, I'm feeling 10 today, adventurous. Let's do 10 minutes. We're gonna write for 10 minutes. Okay. Here we go. And paper, pen, coffee, tea, whatever you need, get yourself set up. You can pause if you want, come back. Here we go. 10 minutes writing. That's us. That's us. Finish up your sentence. Okay. So one of the things that I liked in the same writing practice is to, right after you're finished, answer a couple questions. First question we'll start with, we'll just answer it for actually, I'll write these down in the editing. So questions to ask yourself and answer is what did I think or experience and not say? Like, what did you skip in the writing process, if anything? And let me write that down. What did I not say? And how did it feel to question your own expression? So when you say what I meant by that was, so how did it feel? And we'll do one more. What do you know now that you didn't know before sitting down to write? Okay. Let's do another. Let's just do we're going to do 2 minutes each question. You can move on faster than that, but it's going to be a total of 6 minutes. And I'll just set the timer to go off every 2 minutes. So you have like a placement of time, but you don't have to like adhere to it. And it's video, so you can also pause if you want more time. Okay, but just as an exercise, here we go. So first 2 out of 6 minutes and go. Okay, next 2 minutes. Okay, last 2 minutes for your third question. Finish up your last sentence or two. We did it. I like to integrate a little after I write. If you do too, you're welcome to just give yourself a little stretch. Do one way and then the other. You can do what I'm doing. You can do your own thing. Totally up to you. I'm feeling like I want to roll my neck out just because it's been sitting in that one position for a minute. And something I want to do today as an invitation, if you just want to do your writing, you can let that be your integration process and go and click off the video and move out to your day. But I'm feeling like I want to, it might just be a minute. It might evolve into a little bit more, but I kind of want to stand and integrate a little bit for myself. Like to join, you can, but I just from the session of just writing right now, I just kind of want to take a couple of plies or bending of the knees and just sort of feel the weight of my pelvis glide down in space and up in space as I push the floor away and allow it to come closer. Just sort of also feeling my heart rise and settle. And I can move my arms around while I do this. I can take my vision to scan the room and just sort of feel what it's like to be in my body after having been with my mind. Now I feel like just a little hinging at the hips, taking that forward, because that feels good, little hinging. Also, the legs. The hips using the body to go down, and also the hips bringing the legs up and just sort of feeling mobility there, that flexion. Ah, that feels good. Yeah, I don't think I want to go into anything real big, but I would just, sometimes it's nice to, after you do something really sedentary, like writing, to kind of allow that to be in your body a little bit. So that can help us get what was happening in the brain, the emotions, the psyche, and then allow it to move through or move out or integrate somatically into the body, some meaning body. And that can sometimes help bridge the space between what we know and what we feel. So perhaps that helped you a little bit. And I enjoy our time together. This has been helpful for me to do this with you, and hopefully this has been helpful for you to do this with me. So what I'm feeling in this moment is that this offers a really nice way, even though I'm not physically in a room with you, I'm still co-regulating with the camera and my awareness of you who may receive this and be with me later. So that's still, even though it's not person to person, body to body, there's still a kind of relational dynamic that happens even through the magic of the internet and technology. And as we continue to advance, and as I continue to cultivate what I think is the future of my my teaching, my career, my community, there's more opportunity to be online. And I'm noting that something about it feels restorative to me when I approach it in a way that feels restorative. And this has been that. So if you've enjoyed this, it would feel great to let me know either in a private message or in a little comment underneath the share. But of course, if you feel most comfortable just keeping it for you, and this is my gift to you, or exchange for your patronage, then that's what that is. So I wish you all the best, and thank you for supporting my work, my process, and being in practice with me. Bye.